Should I rent a house or should I buy a house? Well, if that's a question you're asking yourself, this video is for you. What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. K-State grad, turned contractor, turned real estate agent and investor. As always, thank you so much for watching these videos. I really do appreciate it. If you do enjoy this content, go and hit the subscribe button, go and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content. And if you know somebody who's interested in this stuff or needs to know this kind of stuff, please share this video with them. Let's go and jump right into it. Should you rent or should you buy? Well, that's the age-old question, isn't it? I will tell you, I'm probably different than a lot of real estate agents because I don't necessarily think that everybody should buy a house. I think it's a good idea. I do think that. But not everybody is qualified or should buy a house because there's a lot of additional things that come with that, right? But then on the flip side of it, there's a lot of things that you miss out on renting as well. So let's dive into everything that I look at on that 30,000 foot view of which one is right for you. Let's first jump into the financial benefits and the initial costs of buying versus renting. Okay, so when you go to buy a house, yes, you're gonna need that down payment. Yes, you're gonna need those closing costs. Yes, you're gonna have all that stuff. You know, depending on the loan type, there's gonna be an initial upfront cost that's gonna be substantially more than renting, right? So you've got the down payments, the closing costs, all of that additional stuff. Then you also are gonna have any updates, any maintenance, anything like that that's always gonna be involved in that part of it as well. On renting a house, you're gonna need your 1 month rent for deposit and then maybe first and last month's rent. So there's a potential investment on that side of it. Granted, you're gonna get some of that back as well, but there's some lower end costs up front when going into renting. Now, looking at the long-term financial investment piece of this, I'm gonna lean towards buying a house all day long because traditionally, at least in our town, traditionally, our houses have appreciated 3 to 5% every single year if you average them all out. Now granted, between 21 and 22, we jumped a staggering 15%. However, that's the thing, right? That doesn't necessarily always happen. So if you are paying regardless of the interest rates, by the way, regardless of the interest rates, you are paying 100% of someone's payment when you rent it, right? I know everyone's saying that right now, but it's true. So you've got you might as well turn around and throw your money in a trash can at that point in time, because when you rent the house, you're not getting anything out of that. Like if you live in a house for let's just say 3 years, right? And let's just say for easy math, it's $1,000 a month. You do $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year for 3 years. That's $36,000 that you will never see again. Right? So be aware of that. Have the idea of like understanding, and there's lost cost in that, but have that idea. Whereas if you were to purchase a home, yes, you're gonna make your house payments, you're gonna make estimate or maintenance, you're gonna updates and things like that. But the thing is that 3 to 5% of appreciation every single year, it gets to be a pretty big number when you sit down and look at it, right? So having that long-term investment, having that target, I know for me, I bought my house 5 years ago. I could sell it for probably today without finishing any of my projects, $100,000 more than what I bought it for. I wouldn't have that if I would have rented a house. So looking at those parts is going to be your initial costs and your financial investment piece of it. Next thing I'm gonna look at is flexibility. It's true. When you rent, you can literally finish your lease, pick up and leave. And you don't have to ever see that house again, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Whereas you are tied to if you are tied to a home, when you buy a house or something like that, you will have that where you are stable, you're secure, you're right here, you know where you're going home to every single night. So if you want that flexible lifestyle, then renting definitely is a little more, it's a little more appealing. So look at that side of it, look at that flexibility, look at all of that. That on the flip side of that, I will also sit here and tell you that there are people that still rent. So depending on what the house is that you own, then we can get you into rent that house out, or short-term rental or medium-term rental, something like that, to where we can have that. Next thing on the list is going to be ongoing costs. Renting, you don't have much, right? You're gonna have your rent, you're gonna have your renter's insurance, you're gonna have your utilities. Okay, so then when you do have a home, when you own a home, you have your maintenance costs, you have your mortgage payments, you have taxes and insurance and things like that. They're going to be ongoing costs. So they, in my opinion, they kind of wash out because you're still paying the mortgage if you rent, you're still paying insurance if you rent, you're still paying utilities. The one you don't have to worry about is maintenance. So there's some differences on that as well. Next thing on the list is going to be your responsibilities for the home. Okay, so this is a big one. This is a big one for you. And I think this is probably one of the most important ones, because here's the thing with that is that if you want zero responsibilities, which is fine, that's up to you. But if you want zero responsibilities, don't buy a home. Because when you buy a home, you are going to have to take care of the maintenance, take care of the taxes, take care of mowing your yard, snow removal, all that additional stuff. It's on you. When you rent the home, it's on the landlord. So they don't necessarily have to, you don't have to necessarily worry about if the washer goes out, you don't have to go fix it. If the plumbing gets clogged, you call the landlord. You don't have to, it's not on your shoulders. So if you want low and no responsibility, almost no responsibilities, go to the renting side. But again, you're not going to take advantage of the equity and things like that that a lot of people are able to take care of at this point. Next on our list is going to be lifestyle factors. So I'll tell you, I absolutely love our neighborhood. We've got kids, we've got families, we've got everybody involved, but you really become a part of that when you buy a home in the community and in that little ecosystem of the neighborhood, right? And so one of those things is you can still get those when you rent, but you're not as entailed into it, enthralled into that particular neighborhood if you don't own in it, because typically you're not worried about maintenance, you're not worried about updates, you're not worried about that stuff. So that's a big piece is having that sense of community, knowing where you're going at every single night, knowing that you're gonna be here for Christmas, knowing that you got that community. Literally last night, my son and I were playing football in the front yard with one of our neighbors, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for that. Again, I know a lot of you are gonna be like, oh, I can do that when I rent too. And you can, you're right, but it isn't the same as if you were to purchase the home and own in that particular neighborhood. On the flip side of that, maybe you don't want any of that. Renting could be good for you. You could live right there and have that flexible opportunity, flexible lifestyle to be able to just walk away anytime you want. And that's totally fine. That's totally up to you as the home owner and home buyer or home renter. Next thing, and this is the one that I think everybody gets worried about, are the market factors. One of the things with this is I promise you, whether you're renting or whether you're owning, the market factors will matter for you as a renter and as a homeowner, right? The home values go up, the home values go down. Well, here's the thing. Taxes go up, insurance goes up, market value goes up, your rent follows right along with that. It's a little bit of a lag with that, but I think in our town right now, we have, $1,300 to $1,500 a month rent is on the low end. And that's just for a 3 to 4 bedroom house, right? So you're still gonna pay something close to that on that end of it. And again, that number's going up too because our market's appreciated so much. Well, our rents are coming up with it here too. So that does happen. So be aware of that. Understand that there are some differences to that. So know that the market volatility isn't just for the homeowner, it's also for the home renter. So if you're gonna take advantage of it, why not be actually purchasing something? Here's the last thing I'm gonna talk about today, and it's just the opportunity cost, right? So I'll tell you my numbers, real numbers. So I bought my house, I think I was 24. It would have been in 2015, no, it would have been 2010. In 2010, I bought my house. I was 24 years old, right out of college. Got into it, had a decent job, bought my house, and then literally lived in that house, raised my son in that house, and then we ended up moving in 2018. So we lived in that house for about 8 years. In that time, I had done, I learned a lot about the house in general. I updated it, I went through and did those things and had that opportunity, right? Well, here's the cool part is I sold that house. I sold it for $194,000. That was in 2018. As I'm recording this in 2023, that house is now sold 3 times. And the last number that I heard is that it sold at $280,000. Okay, so there's a big jump there. And that's just in the last 5 years of actually going through this process, right? So the last 5 years, this house has been sold 3 times and it has now just most recently sold for $280,000. Not my numbers, I didn't make that money. I sold it prior to the market going crazy like it is. But The reason I bring that up is because if someone hadn't bought that, there's a lot of additional income in there that you didn't have, or equity within the home, or things like that, because our home market, our housing market is inflated at this point in time, but you're still, over time, you still are going to project up, because you still are going to be able to have something tangible, right? You have a house, you have that. As long as you upkeep and keep it looking nice, you're going to be okay on that side of it. If the market sucks at the point that you need to sell, don't sell. It's that easy, right? All right, well, I want to say thank you very much for everybody for watching it. I know this one gets a little deep into the woods here, so if you do have any questions about it or anything like that, put in the comments below, because if you have any questions, I would almost guarantee you that other people have questions as well. As always, if you are interested in buying, selling, investing, or anything real estate related, please reach out to me. My phone number is 785-477-5485. My email is kyle@homesforsalemhk.com. And again, if you haven't done so and you do enjoy this content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content. And please, 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 because it does help us grow the channel, share this video, share our channel, share it out there everywhere that you can, just so that we can help more buyers and more sellers throughout the process of the housing market in Manhattan, Kansas. So again, thank you so much for watching these videos. I appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you then.